Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today. So, it's very sad. One of my most favorite creators in comic books, Peter David, has passed away 2 days ago. Sorry, not 2 days ago, yesterday, as of this recording. And today's the day after, and I wanted to make a video on him, but had to kind of um, go through work and all that stuff. So once I got out of work, after getting some stuff done around the house, I decided I'm gonna make this video. We're gonna have a talk about creators. But before that, I am gonna talk a little bit about Peter David. Um, Peter David, for those of you that don't know, and you should know, if you're a comic book fan, you should know who Peter David is. He wrote the Hulk for 12 years. Started with Todd McFarlane, and the creators that he had working on the Hulk. He had Todd McFarlane, he had Jeff Purves, he had Dale Keown, he had Gary Frank, he had Mike Deodato, and he had Adam Kubert. So those are some. That's not everybody, but those are some of the um, pencilers and artists that he had on Hulk. He took Hulk in the gray era, turned him into Mr. Fix It, and then merged them and brought so much stuff. It's one of my most favorite runs of all time. Some people like his X Factor run as well. He did a lot of stuff in X Factor, but the Hulk run to me, that's his magnum opus. Um, so among his many works, Peter David is best known, or is well to the general public, the creator of Young Justice. Young Justice because of how the TV show and all that stuff. That's probably how most people know him. Um, Comic book fans, of course, it's got to be the Hulk. Um, so he not only was the creator, Young Season went on for 4 seasons. He's the creator of Spider-Man 2099, which is a great. Fortunately, I had to stop making videos of it because nobody cared, nobody watched. So I stopped Spider-Man 2099. But it's a great freaking um, story right then and there. He has won Eisner Awards. Uh, the dude, so he wrote Aquaman. Now, I have to tell you that I read some of the Aquaman, and I don't care for Aquaman. That's not his fault. But I'm not a big Aquaman guy, so I didn't really read his run on Aquaman. But from things I've read, it was pretty critically acclaimed. He had a pretty lengthy run. He did Supergirl, which started out with Gary Frank, which I thought was spectacular, but sales unfortunately got that series canceled. Captain Marvel, he had 3 runs of it. That was when Janice Vell was Captain Marvel. Um, what else am I missing? He did a couple issues of Wolverine. He combined humor in his stories with real stuff that was uh, just the dude was so good at his craft, and I just enjoyed him so much, and I always uh at least except for Aquaman, I read just about everything Peter David has written. I just couldn't. I'm so sorry about Aquaman. Um, I just couldn't put up with Aquaman. So his wife, Kathleen, she let people know that he had passed away after a long illness. He had health issues They had a GoFundMe, and I always said, hey, if you got $5, $10, help. They had mountain debt. And I'm going to get to that in a moment here from the medical bills. He had suffered a kidney disease that led to small strokes. He'd been in remission for about 3 years, but he'd been dropped from Medicaid. That's his own thing. That's actually not what I'm going to talk about. I'm coming to what I actually am going to talk about. And Medicaid could be its own thing. Other people argue the people on Medicaid, but that's not what that's not going to be the point that I'm going to get to. He unfortunately did not survive and passed. So now that I've praised Peter, deservedly so, he deserves a lot of praise because his creations were so important. I'm going to get to the crux of this video. And if you look behind him, you'll see Marvel plastered in there a lot. And here's where I'm going to get a little angry. Particularly with hypocrisy. Now, most of the time, my videos, I just read comic books with you guys. Once in a while, I make a commentary like the Daredevil, not the Daredevil, the Frank Miller video, which some people loved it, some people hated it, talking about his art style. But this really isn't this isn't the kind of thing that I do in this channel. But in this case, I feel that I have to. Now, these companies, entertainment companies, and Marvel Comics, which is owned by Disney, who is notoriously cheap, and it's about maximizing every freaking dollar. You want to know why comic books are so bad right now? It's not per se the creators, it's that they're not willing to spend money on creators. So this is what we get. So the reason that these creators aren't very good, but that's all that Disney and I won't say DC. DC pays probably a little bit better because if you look at who they get, DC gets is still getting some names out there. But Marvel is notoriously cheap and doesn't want to pay anybody anything. Peter David Marvel could have easily paid for all the crap that they took from Peter David, from the Smart Hulk that's been used in the Marvel movies, with the glasses, for Mr. Fix-It in the cartoons, for just because he was with you for such a long time, you could have given him a contract even if he wasn't writing, put him in your health insurance and taking care of it. You could have done that. Now, he had to go into Medicaid, okay? And again, this isn't about arguing whether or not when he was dropped from Medicaid, that's not the point of the issue. Some people may say, that's a larger issue. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about Marvel Comics, Disney not doing right. This is about creators who work for them, do a bunch of stuff that they make movies out of and TV shows out of, and these people don't see a dime. Yet, the hypocrisy. People will like to say Marvel Comics is so woke or Marvel Comics is so far left. Well, they're not far enough left where they are willing to pick up someone's tab when they're sick. When they don't do that. They like to say that, we're left. We love gays. We love this. We love that. Oh, and wave the blue flag. I say blue because of Democratic Party is blue, Republicans red, so they like to wave the blue flag and buy our comic books because this and that. Yet, yet, when someone actually needs help, they're nowhere to be seen. It's it is simply outrageous that Peter David had to go on Medicaid because Marvel Comics didn't have the balls to put him in their insurance and help the brother out who had done so much creatively. It pisses me off to no end when these companies like to pretend that they're all for social issues when they're really not. Disney, in which Marvel and Star Wars are a part of, does not care. And all this outrage that people go online, it's all BS. It is. This is just fake stuff, fake outrage from Disney and Marvel who did this. Because DC could have done this too, by the way. DC's actually all the time, oh, waving the pride and waving the rainbow. Oh, we love this. But where was they? So keep in mind that his most successful property was Young Justice, which made it for 4 seasons. Um, why didn't they step up? Now, can we say Peter David probably didn't save the money necessary? Has he made millions? Maybe. I don't know his financial situation. I don't know how things are. I don't know how much, but part of the reason why maybe they're not that rich is because they probably don't get that much money from them. And I doubt that even if he would have saved $1 million, it would have all been eaten up anyway by these mounting medical bills. And neither DC nor Marvel dare to do anything to help him out. It is outrageous that this poor dude basically dies broke while stuff he's created makes money hand over fist. And Marvel and DC don't give. DC does give a little more than other stuff, but not enough. And neither one put them on his health. Neither one says, "Hey, man, here's a contract. We'll put you on our medical. Let's go, bud. We're sorry, and don't pay his bill that he owed." And says, "Here, this is back pay for some of these creations. We're gonna, get you out of this, get you out of that, help your wife out." And the bastards don't do anything. And then people go, "Oh, they made Iceman gay. Yay, Marvel Comics. Look how leftist they are." Well, how leftist are they, people? How leftist are they? This poor guy basically dies broke, and they didn't do anything to help. Oh, DC turned Superboy gay or bisexual, whatever. Yay! Oh, look at us. We're so left, and oh, love us and buy our stuff. And yet, they didn't do anything to help Peter David out. It is so incredibly sad to me that Peter David had to go through this, had to create a GoFundMe, had to be on Medicaid, had to do these things that and he gets nothing. He gets nothing. I understand it's work for hire, man. I'm not naive. I know how the world works, but it just goes to show you that these companies have lost their soul. This is why I spent so much time in the 80s and doing, I'm not saying things were perfect then, but their structure was a lot better. I think you saw certain things that were being done for creators. Unfortunately, Peter David did try the creator-owned route. It wasn't, people really loved his superheroes, and he did really well, but he really didn't have much to help him. And a lot of the books that he had created were long out of print. And so I feel so bad. I feel so bad knowing that one of my favorite creators, one of the best writers in comic books, top 10, um, has to go through this because neither company did the right thing. Neither company stepped up. It is outrageous. It should anger you that these companies have no soul. No soul, no soul, no soul at all. Um and so I'm saddened by his death, number one, because of selfish reasons, because I loved reading his stuff. I am sad that he won't be able to create any more stuff. Um, I'm angry at the circumstances surrounding his health and how these companies didn't help him. It's just beyond. No, nobody's forced to. But man, when you're out there on your high horse telling us how great you are because you do all these liberal things, man. Well, how liberal are you? Fake outrage is what I like to call it from Marvel and DC. Fake outrage. So, Peter David, man, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that he had to go through. He was so talenting. It's just such sad news. My goodness gracious. Peter David, rest in peace, and shame on Marvel, shame on DC, shame on the entertainment industry who makes millions and millions of dollars and doesn't even bother to help people when they need it. Gosh. Um I'm rambling right now. So it's just so sad and so tragic. You see all these like DC, like Jim Lee. Jim Lee is DC Comics chief creative officer. He wrote on his Facebook how sad it was about the work of that. This happened to Peter David. Oh, boohoo, Jim Lee. You're you're practically the voice of DC Comics, man. There's godly, it's just hypocrisy, and like I said, it's fake outrage. So anytime, if you lean left, and next time you want to defend Marvel and DC for doing something that you perceive is on your side, and you go, yay, just keep in mind they did this to him and they do this to other people too. Don't This isn't just a Peter David thing. So um they're they're terrible how they currently treat things and treat people, and how cheap they are, and how they don't want to spend. They don't want to spend any money on anything. They want to do everything, maximize every dollar. They want to do everything the cheap. This is why comic books right now are hardly worth buying. And by the way, they're so expensive. They really are hardly worth buying. So I rather buy a facsimile edition for $5 than I rather buy than any of these new books that comes out. So, Peter David, man, rest in peace. Um, I hope I hope now that you find a rest. Um, Golly. Anyway, yeah, that's it. It's just so bummed. Anyway, um, thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye.